3, 2, 1.
Beneath a man-made hill in central China, a great secret lies buried. This is not just any hill, it is a tomb. It holds the remains of China's first emperor, Qin Shi Huang. For over 2 millennia, this silent emperor has rested undisturbed within his vast underground palace. The mound, located in the Lintong district of Xi'an, looks like a natural part of the landscape. It is covered with trees and grass, blending into the surrounding countryside. Yet it is one of the most significant archaeological sites on Earth. It holds the key to understanding a pivotal moment in Chinese history, a time of unification and immense power. The scale of this final resting place is almost impossible to comprehend. The entire mausoleum complex is believed to cover an area of nearly 100 square kilometers. It is a city built for the dead, designed to mirror the capital city he ruled in life. Qin Shi Huang wanted his reign to continue into the afterlife, and he spared no expense to ensure it would. He commanded a workforce of hundreds of thousands of laborers to construct his eternal home. They toiled for decades, moving earth, building walls, and crafting wonders that have remained hidden from human eyes for more than 2,000 years. The tomb is more than a grave. It is a statement of absolute power and a testament to one man's monumental ambition. This tomb represents the birth of imperial China. Qin Shi Huang was a figure of immense historical importance. He ended the centuries-long warring states period by conquering all rival states. He unified China under a single centralized rule. He standardized weights, measures, currency, and even the written script. These reforms laid the foundation for the China we know today. His tomb, therefore, is not just the final resting place of a powerful ruler. It is a symbol of that unification. It encapsulates the culture, technology, and beliefs of the new empire, frozen in time at the very moment of its creation. The allure of the tomb comes from its mystery. While we know a great deal about the emperor from historical texts, his inner world, his underground palace, remains a complete enigma. What treasures lie within? What secrets of his reign are waiting to be discovered? The Chinese government has wisely chosen not to excavate the central tomb, preserving it for future generations. This decision has only deepened the fascination surrounding the site. It forces us to rely on ancient accounts, scientific surveys, and our own imagination to picture the wonders sealed within the earth. The silent mountain continues to guard its emperor's secrets, a timeless puzzle waiting to be solved. The man who would become the first emperor was born Ying Zheng in 259 BC. His early life was tumultuous. He ascended the throne of the Qin state at the young age of 13. The world he inherited was one of constant conflict. China was not a single nation but a collection of warring states, each vying for supremacy. For centuries, these states had fought brutal battles, a period aptly named the Warring States period. Ying Zheng grew up in this environment of violence and political intrigue. It shaped him into a ruthless and determined leader. He was driven by a singular vision: to conquer all his rivals and unite the lands under his sole command. His ambition was matched by his strategic genius and utter ruthlessness. One by one, he launched massive military campaigns against the other 6 major states: Han, Zhao, Wei, Chu, Yan, and Qi. His armies were disciplined, well-equipped, and led by brilliant generals. The Qin state had perfected the art of war. They used new tactics and technologies to overwhelm their enemies. By 221 BC, the last rival state had fallen. Ying Zheng had achieved the impossible. He had brought an end to the chaos of the warring states. He declared himself Qin Shi Huang, which means the first sovereign emperor of Qin, a title grander than any king before him. With China unified, Qin Shi Huang embarked on a series of radical reforms. He knew that military conquest was not enough to hold the vast empire together. He needed to create a shared identity. He abolished the old feudal system, replacing it with a centralized bureaucracy. The empire was divided into commanderies and counties, all governed by officials he appointed directly. This ensured his control extended to every corner of his domain. He standardized the writing system, making communication and administration far more efficient. He also standardized currency, weights, and measures, which boosted the economy and trade across the newly unified lands. The first emperor was a builder on an epic scale. His projects were designed to connect and protect his empire. He commissioned a vast network of roads, allowing his armies and officials to travel quickly. Perhaps his most famous project was the connection of existing defensive walls to form the first version of the Great Wall of China. This massive undertaking was meant to protect the northern frontier from nomadic tribes. While these achievements were monumental, they came at a terrible human cost. Millions were forced into labor and dissent was crushed without mercy. He was a visionary but also a tyrant, a ruler forged in the fires of war who ruled with an iron fist. As Qin Shi Huang grew older, his focus shifted from conquering lands to conquering death itself. Having achieved supreme power in the mortal world, he became obsessed with finding the elixir of life. The first emperor could not accept that his reign would end. He desperately sought immortality, a way to rule his empire forever. This quest became a central part of his later years, driving him to send expeditions to faraway lands and to consult with alchemists and magicians. He wanted to find the mythical ingredients that would grant him everlasting life, a prize he desired more than any earthly treasure. His fear of death was profound. Historical records, particularly those by the Han Dynasty historian Sima Xi'an, detail the emperor's paranoia. He frequently traveled in disguise and moved between hundreds of palaces connected by secret tunnels to thwart assassins and evil spirits. He believed that by keeping his whereabouts a secret, he could confuse the spirits of death that sought him. This obsession led him to fund numerous expeditions. The most famous of these was the one he sent under the court sorcerer Xu Fu. Xu Fu sailed into the eastern seas with thousands of young men and women, tasked with finding the legendary Penglai Mountain, home of the immortals, and bringing back the elixir of life. They never returned. While he searched for a way to live forever, he also prepared for the possibility of failure. This is where his magnificent tomb comes into play. If he could not achieve physical immortality, he would create an eternal empire in the afterlife. The tomb was not just a burial place, it was a microcosm of his universe, a sprawling underground domain where he would continue to rule. He filled it with everything he would need for his eternal reign. This included replicas of his palaces, treasures, and, most famously, an entire army to protect him. The construction was a monumental effort, a testament to his belief that his power should transcend the boundary between life and death. The emperor consulted with the most trusted alchemists of his time. Many of them prescribed mercury-based potions, believing the liquid metal held the key to longevity. It is a tragic irony that these elixirs were likely highly toxic. Many historians now believe that the emperor's consumption of mercury may have contributed to his deteriorating health and eventual death. His desperate quest for immortality may have been the very thing that shortened his life. He died in 210 BC while on a tour of his Eastern Empire, still searching for the secret to eternal life, leaving behind a unified but fragile empire and an unopened tomb filled with untold wonders. The most famous part of Qin Shi Huang's mausoleum complex is not the tomb itself, but its silent guardians. The Terracotta Army is a breathtaking collection of life-size clay soldiers, horses, and chariots. They were created to serve and protect the emperor in the afterlife. This subterranean army represents the formidable military power that allowed Qin to conquer all of China. Each soldier was crafted with incredible care and attention to detail. They stand in battle formation in large pits, facing east, ready to defend their emperor from any threats that might arise from the states he conquered. The sheer scale and artistry of this clay legion are without parallel in the history of the world. What makes the Terracotta Army so astonishing is its realism and individuality. There are no two faces exactly alike. Each warrior has unique facial features, hairstyles, and expressions. Some look stern and resolute, others appear calm and thoughtful. They are a true representation of the diverse individuals who made up the Qin army. The soldiers are categorized by rank, including archers, infantrymen, cavalrymen, and high-ranking generals. Their armor, uniforms, and weaponry were meticulously replicated, providing invaluable information about the military technology and organization of the Qin dynasty. The artists who created them were masters of their craft, turning simple clay into a vivid and lifelike army. The creation of such a vast and detailed army was a massive industrial undertaking. Archaeologists believe that the warriors were made using molds for the basic parts like heads, limbs, and torsos. These parts were then assembled, and a final layer of clay was applied. Skilled artisans would then customize each soldier, carving the individual facial features, hair, and details on the armor. After being fired in kilns, the warriors were painted with bright, natural pigments. Traces of these colors, pinks, reds, greens, and blues, can still be seen on some of the figures, giving us a glimpse of their original vibrant appearance before 2 millennia in the earth faded their splendor. The army is more than just a collection of statues. It is a profound cultural statement. It demonstrates the incredible level of organization and resources the first emperor could command. It also offers a window into the Qin belief system regarding the afterlife. The emperor did not just want symbols of protection, he wanted a literal, functional army to command. These clay soldiers were meant to be imbued with the spirit, to come to life in the next world and continue their service. They are the ultimate expression of his power, a silent, eternal legion standing guard over their emperor, a testament to his ambition to rule not just in this life but in the next. For centuries, the Terracotta Army lay hidden and forgotten beneath the fields of Shanxi province. Local farmers knew that the area was special. They would sometimes unearth strange pottery fragments and pieces of ancient masonry while digging wells or, just plowing their fields. They called the area the accursed ground and had legends about the treasures and dangers that lay beneath. However, no one could have imagined the true scale of what was buried there. The army, a key part of the emperor's grand afterlife plan, had vanished from historical memory. It remained a secret kept by the earth, waiting for an accidental encounter to bring it back into the light of the modern world. That encounter happened in March of 1974. A group of local farmers were digging a well in an attempt to find water during a severe drought. As they dug deeper, their shovels struck something hard. At first, they thought it was just an old kiln or maybe a piece of pottery. But as they continued to dig, they unearthed the life-sized head of a clay warrior. It was a startling discovery. Frightened by what they had found, they reported it to local authorities. This humble act by a few farmers trying to find water set in motion one of the most significant archaeological discoveries of the 20th century. News of the find quickly reached archaeologists in Xi'an. They came to the site and began preliminary excavations. What they uncovered was beyond anything they could have anticipated. It was not just one statue, but hundreds, then thousands of clay soldiers arranged in military formation. They had stumbled upon the first of what would eventually be identified as 4 main pits containing the Terracotta Army. The world was stunned. The discovery made headlines globally, revealing a hidden wonder that had been sealed for over 2,200 years. The farmers who were just looking for water had accidentally rediscovered an emperor's lost army. The discovery immediately transformed our understanding of the Qin dynasty. Before 1974, our knowledge came almost exclusively from written texts, primarily those of Sima Qian. The Terracotta Army provided tangible physical evidence of the incredible sophistication of Qin craftsmanship and military organization. It confirmed the historical accounts of the first emperor's power and his obsession with the afterlife. The site was quickly protected and a massive museum was built over the excavation pits to preserve the warriors and allow the public to witness this incredible spectacle. The accidental find became a planned and celebrated window into China's ancient past. The historical records written by Sima Qian in his Records of the Grand Historian are our primary source of information about the tomb's interior. His descriptions are both fascinating and terrifying, blurring the line between history and legend. Sima Qian wrote that the tomb contains replicas of palaces and pavilions filled with rare utensils and wonderful treasures. He claims that craftsmen were ordered to make crossbows and arrows primed to shoot at anyone who enters the tomb. These accounts of elaborate booby traps have captured the imagination of people for centuries, contributing to the tomb's fearsome reputation. The idea of a tomb that actively defends itself is a powerful and enduring myth. These stories of automated traps serve a dual purpose. They were likely intended to deter tomb robbers in ancient times, creating a psychological barrier to protect the emperor's rest. But they also add to the emperor's mystique, painting him as a ruler so powerful that his will could be enforced even after his death. Whether these traps are real or an exaggeration remains unknown. Modern technology has not been able to confirm their existence without excavation. However, the possibility, however remote, is one of the many factors that contributes to the cautious approach taken by authorities today. The legends themselves have become part of the tomb's protective shield. Beyond the mechanical traps, there are also tales of curses and spiritual guardians. Local folklore has long spoken of the dangers of disturbing the emperor's slumber. These stories suggest that opening the tomb would unleash misfortune and chaos upon the world. Such beliefs are common for the tombs of powerful rulers across many cultures. They reflect a deep-seated respect for the dead and a fear of meddling with forces beyond our understanding. While modern science may dismiss these as superstitions, they hold significant cultural weight and add another layer to the complex decision of whether to excavate the tomb. The legends surrounding the tomb have become intertwined with its history. They are now an inseparable part of its identity. Sima Qian's dramatic accounts, combined with local folklore, have created an image of a tomb that is not just a burial site, but a sealed and dangerous world. It is a place where history, myth, and magic converge. The stories of booby traps, rivers of mercury, and celestial ceilings make the tomb more than just an archaeological site. They make it a legendary place, an epic tale waiting to be read, but perhaps one whose final chapter should never be opened. Among all the legends described by Sima Qian, the most famous and scientifically plausible is the account of rivers of liquid mercury. The historian wrote that the tomb's floor is a map of the emperor's domain, complete with China's two most important rivers, the Yangtze and the Yellow River, recreated using flowing mercury. He claimed that mechanical devices were used to make the mercury circulate, mimicking the flow of the actual rivers. This stunning feature was meant to represent the emperor's control over his lands, even in death. The ceiling above was said to be a map of the heavens, with pearls representing the stars and constellations, so the emperor could have his entire universe with him in the afterlife. For a long time, this account was considered a fantastic exaggeration, a piece of literary flair to emphasize the emperor's greatness. However, modern scientific surveys have provided compelling evidence that supports Sima Qian's claims. In the 1980s, scientists conducted soil tests on the earth of the tomb mound. They took thousands of samples from different locations and depths. The results were astonishing. They found abnormally high concentrations of mercury in the soil, and the pattern of these high concentrations roughly corresponds to the location of major rivers on a map of the Qin Empire. This suggests that there was, and likely still is, a massive amount of liquid mercury sealed within the tomb. The presence of so much mercury presents a significant danger. Mercury is a highly toxic substance. If the tomb were to be opened, the volatile mercury vapor could escape, posing a severe health risk to archaeologists and potentially contaminating the surrounding environment. It could also cause irreparable damage to the artifacts inside. The mercury was intended to create an eternal, shimmering landscape for the emperor, but it has also become one of the most effective deterrents to excavation. The very substance meant to represent his eternal empire now serves as a poisonous shield, protecting his final resting place from intrusion. This scientific confirmation of an ancient legend is truly remarkable. It lends credibility to Sima Qian's other, more fantastical descriptions of the tomb's interior. If he was right about the rivers of mercury, what else might be true? Are there really automated crossbows waiting for intruders? Is the ceiling truly adorned with pearls representing the stars? The mercury discovery deepens the mystery and reinforces the wisdom of leaving the tomb sealed. It is a powerful reminder that the ancient texts, sometimes dismissed as myth, can hold profound truths, and that the first emperor's tomb is a place of both incredible wonder and very real danger. The primary reason why the Chinese government has forbidden the excavation of Qin Shi Huang's central tomb is the risk of irreversible damage. The experience with the Terracotta Army serves as a stark warning. When the warriors were first unearthed, their vibrant paint began to flake and fade almost immediately upon exposure to the air. The sudden change in humidity and temperature caused the 2,000-year-old lacquer, which was used as a base for the paint, to curl and break away. Despite years of research, preservation technology is still not advanced enough to guarantee that the same fate would not befall the priceless artifacts inside the main tomb chamber. The tomb is believed to be a treasure trove of organic materials such as silk, wood, and lacquerware. These materials are incredibly fragile after being in a stable, oxygen-poor environment for over 2 millennia. Opening the tomb would introduce oxygen and other environmental factors that could cause them to disintegrate in a matter of minutes. Imagine ancient texts written on bamboo slips or silk banners, holding secrets of the Qin dynasty, turning to dust before they can even be read. The potential loss of knowledge is too great a risk to take. The consensus among archaeologists and officials is that it is better to leave the tomb sealed until technology evolves to a point where perfect preservation is possible. Beyond the preservation challenges, there are immense structural dangers. The tomb is a massive underground structure and its internal integrity is unknown. Excavation could trigger a collapse, destroying the contents and endangering the lives of the archaeological team. The legendary booby traps, while perhaps exaggerated, cannot be entirely dismissed. There could be structural traps designed to cause cave-ins. Furthermore, the high levels of toxic mercury vapor present a very real and deadly threat. Any excavation would have to be an incredibly complex and cautious operation, requiring technologies and methodologies that are still being developed. Ultimately, the decision not to excavate is an act of profound respect. It is a respect for the past, for the cultural heritage the tomb represents, and for the future. The current generation sees itself as custodians of this incredible site, not its conquerors. They believe it is their duty to pass it on, intact, to future generations who will hopefully possess the technology and wisdom to explore it, without destroying it. Waking the sleeping dragon that is the tomb of Qin Shi Huang is a task for another time. For now, the Emperor is allowed to continue his eternal rest, his secrets kept safe by the earth, the legends, and modern science. The tomb of Qin Shi Huang remains one of the world's greatest unopened chapters of history. It is a time capsule, perfectly sealed at the dawn of Imperial China. Within its earthen walls lies the potential to answer countless questions about the Qin dynasty and its enigmatic founder. What did the emperor really look like? What were the full details of his political and philosophical beliefs? What other artistic and technological wonders did his craftsmen create? The answers to these questions are tantalizingly close yet wisely kept out of reach. The unopened tomb forces us to wonder, to imagine, and to respect the limits of our current capabilities. This enduring enigma is a powerful symbol of human ambition and the quest for eternity. The first emperor mobilized the resources of an entire nation to build a monument to his own power, an underground kingdom where he could reign forever. He sought to conquer not only his rival states, but death itself. While he failed to achieve physical immortality, he succeeded in creating a legacy that has lasted for millennia. His tomb, in its sealed state, has granted him a different kind of immortality. He remains a figure of immense fascination and mystery, his story continuously told and retold, his power still felt through the silence of his unopened mausoleum. The decision to preserve the tomb, rather than excavate it, reflects a mature and responsible approach to cultural heritage. It prioritizes long-term preservation over the short-term gratification of discovery. This patient approach ensures that future generations, armed with more advanced technology, will have the chance to unlock the tomb's secrets safely and completely. It is an acknowledgement that some treasures are so precious that we must wait until we are truly ready to encounter them. The tomb's status as an unexcavated site is not a failure of archaeology, but a triumph of conservation. In the end, the tomb of Qin Shi Huang is more than just an archaeological site. It is a monument to the eternal tension between the known and the unknown. The Terracotta Army gives us a stunning glimpse into the Emperor's world, but the central tomb holds the heart of the mystery. It will continue to fuel speculation, research, and wonder for decades, perhaps centuries to come. The silent man-made mountain in Xi'an stands as a permanent reminder of a powerful emperor's dream of eternity, and as a challenge to future generations to one day carefully and respectfully open this final unopened chapter of our shared human story.